At 6:15 a.m. on June 6, 1944, the world was holding its breath. What happened in the next few minutes would decide the fate of thousands of men, many of whom would never make it off the beach. A thin fog clung to the English Channel. The sea was calm, almost indifferent, and high above a stretch of sand called Omaha Beach. A 20-year-old German soldier lay prone behind a machine gun. His name was Heinrich Severlo. At that moment, he had no idea he would become one of the most lethal individuals of the entire Second World War. He grew up on a farm in Lower Saxony. He knew the weight of soil and livestock, not the weight of history. He had trained as an artilleryman. He had never expected to fight like this. Yet on that morning, his hands rested on a weapon capable of firing 20 rounds every second. Below him, the largest invasion force ever assembled was moving toward the shore. More than 150,000 Allied soldiers, over 5,000 ships, thousands of aircraft filling the sky. It was the beginning of the operation meant to end the war in Europe. For a brief moment, just seconds before the ramps dropped, the beach was silent. Then the ramps fell. American soldiers stepped into cold, chest-deep water. They were weighed down by nearly 60 pounds of equipment. Many were seasick. Many were exhausted. Their rifles were soaked. There was no cover. And then the gun opened fire. Not a rhythmic burst. Not the familiar chatter of machine gun fire, but a scream. If you were there, you wouldn't have recognized it as gunfire at all. The weapon didn't sound like individual shots. At 1,200 rounds per minute, the human ear couldn't separate them. The sound merged into one continuous tearing roar, like metal ripping through cloth. Men fell before they could take 3 steps forward. All along Omaha Beach, German resistance nests swept the sand with overlapping fields of fire. But one position in particular would become infamous. A concrete bunker designated Widerstandsnest 62. From there, Severlo fired for hours. And here's the part most people don't expect. The most terrifying thing about that weapon was not the man pulling the trigger. It was who designed it. The MG42 was not created by generals. It was not designed by seasoned, arisen battlefield veterans. It did not come from a legendary weapons factory. It was designed by a mechanical engineer who had never fired a weapon in combat. His name was Werner Gruner. Before the war, his company manufactured lanterns, not weapons, not military equipment. Lanterns pressed sheet metal, lanterns for everyday civilian use. In the mid-1930s, Germany faced a problem that threatened its entire war plan. Its primary machine gun, the MG-34, was advanced but painfully slow to produce. Each weapon required precision machining from solid steel. Skilled labor was essential. Production was expensive. Each MG-34 took roughly 150 man-hours to build. That meant Germany could not make enough of them no matter how badly it needed them. Germany was preparing for total war. Aircraft engines, tanks, artillery, and vehicles all competed for the same skilled machinists and high-grade steel. There simply weren't enough resources to go around. So the military quietly asked a question that would change warfare forever. What if a machine gun could be built like a consumer product? Werner Gruner didn't ask how to design the most refined or elegant weapon. He asked how to design one that could be produced fast, cheap, and in massive numbers, Instead of carving parts from solid steel blocks, he stamped them, pressed them, bent flat sheets of metal into shape using hydraulic presses. Most weapons experts laughed. Stamped steel was considered cheap, fragile, unfit for combat. They were certain it would fail. Instead, it did the opposite. Stamped components flexed instead of cracking. Looser tolerances meant dirt and sand were less likely to cause jams. Production time was cut in half. Material usage dropped dramatically, and then came the decision that would terrify soldiers on every front. Gruner made the gun. Faster, much faster. German doctrine emphasized suppression over precision. Keeping the enemy pinned down mattered more than conserving ammunition. Soldiers were exposed for only seconds as they moved between cover. The goal was to fill that moment with as much fire as possible. The MG42 fired faster than any infantry. Machine gun ever fielded. Some variants approached 1,500 rounds per minute when soldiers first encountered it in combat. Many thought something was wrong. British troops in North Africa were among the first. Veterans of earlier wars said they had never heard anything like it. The sound alone caused panic. It didn't chatter, it didn't pulse, it screamed. They gave it names: Hitler's buzzsaw, the bone saw, the singing saw. Even when bullets missed, the sound froze men in place. At Monte Cassino, MG42 teams held off Allied forces for months from fortified positions in the hills. In Normandy's hedgerows, a single gun could stop an entire company's advance. American training films tried to downplay the weapon. Soldiers were told the sound was worse than the danger, that the MG42 was inaccurate, that American weapons were superior. That reassurance didn't survive first contact. On Omaha Beach, the MG42 showed exactly what it was capable of. From his bunker, Sevelo fired controlled bursts, sweeping the waterline. When barrels overheated, they were swapped. In seconds, ammunition boxes were stacked behind him.